Alright, so it looks like we're live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the ISRL Season 3 Tier 2 Championship here. It's round 11 out of 18 at the Hungaroring here for the Hungarian Grand Prix as we are just now loading into short qualifying session to kick things off. I am your host, Fallen Monkeys, here as per usual, back in the commentator's booth, joined by ISRL Stunik. I'm not too sure if he's in here right now, so let's give a quick shout out to Stunik. Are you here with us? Does not seem like as if he's here, at least for the moment. So he'll be back in just a few minutes, I believe. Probably just stepping away. But either way, I'm more than happy to keep company during the time being, as we're just waiting for the first drivers to come out on the grid. I think I saw it's probably the Renault of Bumblebee. Yep, that is the Renault of Bumblebee coming out to start his first lap, and there's a racing point behind him as well. That might be, yes, that is Callus. To start their flying laps, and we've got a full grid here for the tier 2 race. As I'm just getting everything set up here, let's get the track map up and running. This is looking good. Yeah, let's give all the good stuff for qualifying here. Gap to the leader. Let's put on the fitted tires for the time being, as we're seeing both of these cars going out on their out laps, getting the tires ready to go. But we have a full grid here for qualifying. Michael Fura is here. Irish Nude Potato, as we're used to seeing. Synchro, Nathan JB, Mats, Cohen Ninchkamp, I believe, if I'm reading that right. I believe he's new here, maybe reserving. Jaron Visser, Formula Matt 22, AJ Wuhan, Dark 066, Mivako, Bumblebee, Callus 2410, DMS Gexy, Chris 85, Vito, Lorenzo, Laparta, Jordan, and Cruz to round off the grid. As we're just here riding with Bumblebee in that Renault, as I believe he's going to be the first to set a time, as he's just going through that DRS zone there, about to cross the line to start his flying lap now. I'm seeing he's on the medium tires, so potentially looking to start on those medium tires if he can set a decent time this early in qualifying, but it could also just be banker times just to get used to the feel of the track, get used to the car, all of that wonderful stuff. But we'll see what kind of time he can put up as he's just going through this first sector, the nice little downhill swooping corner section of the track. I don't really know the numbers or the names of the corners here, if they have names, so bear with me on that. This turn here is very tricky to take clean. You don't want to cut it too much, because if you clip that white curb, those who drive it know it all too well. You're going to go for a bit of a ride, and normally it's not going to be great on the lap times, but looks, thankfully, Bumblebee took it pretty well. As he's going through this very tricky sector 2, you can make or break a lap here, just because it's so windy, so tricky. Really relies on a lot of, oh my goodness, I guess lots of speed transfer, but you need decent aero, but still not too much aero to the point where you're losing out on the speed in the quick sections here. But as Bumblebee's coming around the lap now, the last few corners with the DRS, times it pretty well. What kind of time is it going to be to start things off? It's a 1:16.5 on the medium tires as the first time on the board. So not a bad time to set, but there's still a decent amount of time for other drivers to beat that time. And here we go. Michael Furious crossing the line with a 1:16.3, so 2/10 up. And Jaron Visser in that AlphaTauri car, setting a time of 1:13.9, so dropping a pretty quick time here right off the get-go on the soft tires, no less. Looks like his teammate Mivako in a provisional P2, but still nearly 8/10 off of Jaron Visser. So what a time this early on by Jaron.
Sorry, I'm a bit late.
Oh, no worries, Astunik. Welcome. You're just in time now, as the drivers are just now getting some time set up. And I was just getting a little bit of a rain, oh my goodness, sorry, a weather report here.
Yeah,
and it looked like, yeah, rain in the race 20 minutes in.
From experience, that'll make everything a lot interesting with these changing conditions, so.
Oh, I can definitely imagine. I mean, you out of all people have a lot of experience with this, as I think you just recently witnessed that in the Tier 3 races. So so as we're just trekking through qualifying here, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think the drivers are going to have to do in order to be able to adapt and tackle these ever-changing conditions that we might be seeing here in the race?
Well, obviously you want to just pick your tire strategy. You really got to nail that. As we saw, our Tier 3 winner just opted to start in 10th place on the medium tire, where everybody around him started on the softs. And even with the changing conditions, was able to eke out a one-stop, or actually a two-stop rather, because he went from medium hard to the inter. So I believe he just worked these medium compound tires and then go for a set of soft. Really, I mean, every game's different. It might not even be 20 minutes into the race. We could get it sooner, as we've seen, as sometimes the weather reporting isn't exactly as accurate as the drivers would like, but it's really all about nailing the tire strategy. So look for a lot of these. It's going to be a mixed field, I believe. We're going to see a lot of medium runners and a lot of soft runners trying to, it's Albiku. Sorry. Validates
Oh,
his
no
lap.
worries. That's not what you're hoping for if you're Biku. Give me a quick second. Why can I not see him on the list here?
Because he's had to use a different PlayStation account, as his, he believes, was hacked. So he's going to be Michael Fures on your
Oh, okay. So that
right
was
there, Bumble.
okay. So Michael Fures, that's Biku. Okay, thank you for the clarification on that, because I honestly had no idea. I thought he was a brand new driver. But I'm actually yeah, nice full grid, 20 drivers. I'm right on board with Vito currently. He's on the medium tires, setting a flying lap. I just saw a purple second sector there for him. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty decent time. But realistically, the way this is probably going to play out for him by the end of qualifying is he's going to end up probably middle of the pack. If it's anything like the Vito I know. But we'll see what it looks at least early on as he's going through the last corner, turn 14, crosses the line, and yep, there we go. Just as I expected in P7 on those medium tires. So it's not a bad time, but 2 seconds off the pace of the pole setter, which is still Jaron Vasseur. Now, do you know anything about Jaron, who's currently sitting on pole, Stunik? Is he a reserve?
Absolutely. He is not a reserve. He's actually a permanent fixture here into the Tier 2. Just picked him up a couple weeks ago. I believe his first race was actually not last week, as we had our bye week. At Singapore, it was his first race. We tried him out. Jordan believed that he had Tier 2 pace, and as you see here, a lot of Tier 2 pace.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely showing...
We might have some guys holding back here, you know what I mean? We got Callis, who seems to be very far off the pace with that 115.3, because we're used to seeing Callis fighting at the front, so...
Yeah,
a lot of people sandbagging, you know
well, potentially. I mean, there's still 10.5 minutes to go in qualifying, right? So nothing stopping a lot of the drivers from just going, setting some banker laps, just to put something on the board and maybe hide some of that true pace, so that way you're not showing your whole hand right before the race.
I just don't believe, like, here's the thing, I don't think you're getting to a 113.9 with the medium tires, so he's kind of early doors kind of just shown that this is what his strategy is going to be going forward, because you can't go out except now on the softs, because there's no way he'll better that time on the medium tire compound. So we know that Jorn's going to start on the softs, whereas somebody like Callis could easily improve that time on a harder compound tire.
Oh, definitely, and that's and still being in P3 if you're the likes of Callis, that still puts you in a great spot too, even if you don't improve that time. As much as the track evolution has something to do with it, I'm actually noticing that.
The mat's off.
Oh no!
To the wall, top of the hill of 4. Or is it 5? I gotta bring
See, oh yeah, there we go. Going for a bit of a Sunday drive there. I'm gonna have to get used to that. We've got Mats and Formula Matt here in the lobby, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit quick in terms of figuring out which one of the two we're talking about. As Cohen Ninjkamp is out of qualifying. It looks like he's right near the. Oh my goodness! I think he wrecked. Looking to go into the pits. He's in the wall, but right at the pit entrance, so potentially just took that corner just a little bit too fast. And that's...
seen his name before.
Neither have I. He might be reserving this week. I'm not 100% sure, but not a start he was hoping for. As his qualifying is over, just like that, with 8.5 minutes to go, and no time on the board for him. Yeah, it really is not what he was hoping for. But let's see. Synchro maybe letting some drivers by, it looks like. I thought he was on a flying lap, so a little interesting that he's going slow. Maybe messed it up a little bit earlier on and just taking his time, regrouping and looking to set another time. He's on the medium tire, so he can definitely get that done. But now as we're down to a little bit under 8 minutes to go, time's getting a little bit more pressing for these drivers who haven't set a time to actually get a time on the board.
Let me take a look here, see if we had any penalties or any of that sort.
You know, take a look as Jaron Vasseur actually, I think he just beat his time. As he's now sets a 1:13.6, so that's still the time to beat. Callis actually set a quicker time. He's up into second now, but still ticks 0.6 behind. Mivako in third, but now between Mivako and Leparkta, they're nearly a second behind, and they're sitting in provisional third and fourth.
Really interesting to see the way these strategies are playing out.
Yeah, and especially if you're, well, with the likes of Giron showing his hand and really showing he's got the pace. But maybe that's his plan. Start on the quickest compound, start from the front of the grid, and just don't look back from the start of the race.
I mean, these drivers could also be thinking, maybe we just go soft to hard and just wait out the rain. That's what a lot of drivers appear to have done in Tier 3. But it's just a real mixed bag, because you don't know exactly when the rain's going to come.
Well, that's the thing, and even before the...
Keep going, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, like, even before, until the race, the rain actually shows up, it's really hard to gauge, because it might just say 5 minutes, but then you're sitting there for the next 15 minutes with Jeff still saying, yep, 5 minutes, I swear.
Yeah, and even when the rain does come, there's no exactly just really nailing. It's all about the feel that you feel the grip, and you don't know where the crossover period is. Well, so it might be raining, but the track isn't requiring an inter or wet tire quite yet, so... I saw New Potato retired. He has a quali ban for this race for running up in Singapore. So. Oh,
okay. So serving his quali ban, so that way that's out of the way, and no further repercussions on that. So that explains why he retired. Now Chris also retired from the session. He has a time on the board at the very least, but it's still 2.6 seconds behind the leader. So not really what he was hoping for, I wouldn't think. Probably hoping for a quicker time than that.
Out on track.
Yeah, I'm riding with Synchro right now as he's coming through, just starting Sector 3. He's got the, he doesn't have too much ERS left, but he's using it as much as he can. Probably looking to improve on the time he's set now. He's on the medium tires, but actually...
He's gonna bail out.
Nope, he's bailing out the last second, going into the pits, so never mind on that lap, as he will remain in 11th.
It's unfortunate you only get one set of medium tires for qualifying, so he's absolutely spent that option.
Yeah, spent the option and not able to capitalize on those medium tires and potentially start on that quicker tire option.
He's been Formula Matt. Hoping he's invalidated. Never mind. It's not.
Nope, I'm actually on with, well, actually, no, I don't even think Dark is on a time. So let's actually ride with Lorenzo. I think he's on a flying lap right now. He's got the ERS up to the max and looking pretty fast. That's a purple first sector, so watch out for Lorenzo as he's flying around the track now, it seems, at least in this early stages. But as I said before, Sector 2 is a bit of a make-or-break sector on a lap. Very easy to invalidate in this section, and Hungary nonetheless is very unforgiving with the track limits, I've noticed, at least in my experience, but it's looking pretty good. Purple Sector 2 for him. So he's just got to keep it up for a few more corners now, and we might see a potential new pole sitter here with a little under 4 minutes to go.
This would be huge for Lorenzo, as we know he served the suspension, came back. Singapore to be only good enough for 7th.
Only good enough for 7th. Potentially maybe
sure
lost.
The purple sectors.
Yeah, and this is where I still have this theory that those purple sectors maybe are potentially just personal quick sectors and not necessarily.
Like us, you know what I mean? I've been out there on like a slow lap before, and I've gotten a purple sector too, and I just chuckle because I know it's not accurate.
No, I really do think it's personal fastest sectors, if I'm being completely honest. But speaking of, with Callis, he's on a lap as well, and he actually set his own purple sector too.
Formula Matt again, same spot. No. Oh, this is towards the end of the lap. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I was just trying to see that as well as to what happened.
What are you doing?
Yeah, Callis went into the pit
at like 900 miles an hour.
Oh, that's not what you want to do. Thankfully, there's not
got a warning.
Oh, definitely got a warning. Normally, there's not too many repercussions in the qualifying session for when you speed into the pit lane, other than just getting that warning. But it sets some bad habits for the race, and sometimes you just kind of forget, and that's where the penalties can really bite you.
I got Mavako right now, starting his fast lap.
Mavako, so I'll tune to him in just a moment. I'm just riding with Bumblebee, currently in 6th on the soft tires, looking to improve on his time. I didn't quite get to see where he was standing in terms of his sector 2, but we'll see if he can improve as he's coming around the last corner now. Opens the DRS, takes a nice exit, and actually, yeah, he does improve. Takes about half a second off his time, up into 5th now for Bumblebee. And he's only a second off of pole, and only a half a second off of P2.
Trying to see who's close to crossing the line for times. I think Albiku is starting one because he invalidated his first one. So.
Perfect. We'll take a look but Albiku's on those 2-lap-old medium tires. It looks like now 3-lap-old medium tires. So I don't know.
Cruz gonna go P7.
Not a bad time by Cruz. I'm riding with Mivako. Doesn't necessarily improve, at least from what I could see. Still in 3rd. Let's see. Let's jump to the park there. He's in the sector 2 right now, and with a minute to go, we're probably seeing lots of drivers now getting on track, setting their flying laps. Just so they can put one last time up on the board before the end of this qualifying session. And oh no, Laparca invalidates his time in Sector 2, going into Sector 3, so not what he was hoping for, but if he rushes around quick enough, he should have enough time to set one more lap if he wants to do so. I think that is exactly what he's going to be doing, because now with 30 seconds to go, it's do or die for a lot of these drivers.
Absolutely.
Let's actually jump to Jordan as he's in Sector 2 in that Alfa Romeo car. Currently last of the running drivers at the very least, on the medium tires, so potentially keeping a lot of pace in his back pocket.
Got a lot of wheel on that curve. Got a bit of oversteer there, but kept it together.
Yep, and that's Michael Furious, who's retiring from qualifying. Now that we're at the end of the session, we're going to see a lot more drivers doing that, and it looks like, at least unless anybody else has anything to say about it, it looks like as if Jeroen Vasseur is going to be starting from pole, as Jordan improves on his time a little bit, but won't change anything in terms of the order. Vito into the pits here. Lorenzo on an out lap, supposedly. Not too sure how accurate that is.
Porta, I think, went for another one. He's got no ERS, really draining the battery here.
Yeah, so let's take a look and see. Is he going into the pits? No, he's not. So let's see what's going to happen as he's going to cross the line very soon now. Opens the DRS. Is it going to be... Yeah, it is better. So actually, passes Mivako.
Torched those tires, though, so...
Yeah, well, that's the...
From the Williams driver.
Well, that's the thing, and I'm looking at the likes of... well, here, let's see. So let's take a look at the best...
Oh, Nathan's out there on the lap right now, trying to improve on his 14th place time.
Okay, well, let's actually jump and take a look at him. But it looks like, yeah, if you're Laparca and even Synchro, it looks like you set your lap on now 2-lap-old soft tires, just compared to everybody else who are just 1-lap old. So it might be a bit of a disadvantage with the tire strategy, given that the tires are going to have that extra lap of wear.
Let's see, where will Nathan go?
Let's take a look. Crosses the line now. What's it gonna be? It disappeared right in front of me, so I won't get to
Yeah.
see. But up into fifth. So
Good
nice,
job.
nice lap by Nathan JB as he comes out the last moment and really improves on his time. So as we hit the end of qualifying, Jerome Vasseur setting a blistering quick time of 1:13.6 to take pole position for the AlphaTauri. Callis in second, Laparta in third, Mivako in fourth, and that's Nathan JB that rounds out the top five, all on soft tires. Synchro, Bumblebee, and Michael Fures also on the soft tires, 6, 7, 8, and Cruz starting in ninth on the medium tires, so potentially an advantage for him, and Lorenzo rounds out the top 10. Dark in 11th, Formula Matt in 12th, Vito starting in his probably his usual P13. Then we have Mats, Chris, Gexy, Jordan, Nude Potato, Niji Camp, and I didn't quite get to see the last name down in 20th as it disappeared a little bit too quickly in front of me. I think that might have been AJ down in 20th there. So here we are, just taking a little bit of a quick moment here before the start of the race, just letting the drivers get into their zone. We're just waiting for the okay from the respective lobby leader here. So I'm actually going to take this moment just to shout out to everybody at home. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you're watching, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell. Don't miss any notifications from us because we've got lots of action still to come, including the race here for Tier 2. And I'm excited to see how this is going to play out as Laparta hits the ready up button and the timer is starting off. And I do not believe he is the designated.
He is not.
Not, so potentially a penalty for him.
I went to get a drink. Yeah, he already got a quality ban for Singapore for the same exact thing. It's unfortunate. Lessons not learned.
Oh, lessons not learned, and he will potentially wreak the punishment again for it. But that remains to see, depending on what the stewards decide they want to do about it. But at least for the time being, we will trek on here with the formation lap. As at least for the time being, we're going to be riding with Jean Vasseur as he's going to take us through the lap of Hungary, going around this first turn here. Nothing overly difficult about it, although it is very easy to miss your braking point, especially with a lot of cars on the track. Coming through to turns 2 and then into the quick turn 3. This turn 2 I find is very difficult, just because you're going downhill. It's easy to miss your braking point and just go way wide and lose so much time. After turn 3, going up, down the hill, then up the hill now, going into this very quick turn 4. This is a very scary turn. Equally scary as turn 5 here, especially that white curve that you can see there. Very easy to ruin a lap or a race. Then we come into turn 6 and 7, a very tight chicane. Nothing too crazy about it, but if you don't get the line right, you're stuck in a very tricky, you're riding a very tricky bump. But honestly, I feel this whole sector 2 is very tricky to get right. You need that nice little balance of aero package and speed to truly get the most out of it.
Yeah, Hungary's unique like that.
Oh yeah, and the worst part is the first time I drove Hungary, I didn't, I thought it was going to be a fairly easy track just looking at it, but little did I know the intricacies and the difficulty this track truly holds.
The elevation really catches you.
Oh yeah, the elevation and the some of those curves can really take you for a spin if you're not careful enough. But here we go. The drivers are lining up on the grid to finish up the formation lap, get the race started. Nice little there's a little bit of a gap here in the back. I think that's between Gexy, Jordan, and the likes of Irish Potato, Cohen, and AJ Wuhan there. So we'll see if that affects any of the leaders who have been sitting on the grid for a while. Let's put the position change on for now, just so we can see who the biggest movers are to start the race, as we're waiting for the 5 red lights to kick things off here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And here we go, 4 lights now, 5 lights, and waiting, and they're off, and the drivers are off now, as Cruz jumps into the lead apparently. No, doesn't look like it. Bit of a timing board issue there. It looks like it's still Jerome Vasseur in the lead. Is that Callus ghosting here? So potential connection issues for him. Up into second, and I do think that's oh my goodness, holy moly, I'm kind of losing track here with this board. Laparta in third, Mivako in fourth. Looks like there's a decent amount of connection issues. Looks like there's a battle between Mats and Vito, I think that is, here a little bit further back of the order. As I'm trying to get a bit of a better camera angle, that doesn't look like it's happening too much anymore. Synchro making a nice move on Dark here as they're going into Sector 2 early on, so he's up into 11th, but not the start he was hoping for, as it looks like he fell down 5 positions from the start of the race, so a bit of catch-up work to do. And who's that? Is that Mivako? What happened to Mivako?
Oh no!
As he's going for a bit of a twirl in Sector 2, all the way down in last now, and that takes himself right out of contention here, but thankfully...
Oh, he's off again!
Oh, he's off again? That's Bumblebee, I think, potentially. No, Bumblebee's not necessarily off. Potentially just took a really bad line and just got overtaken by this gaggle of cars, the likes of Vito, Gexy, and Mats. Dark is going into the pits very early on here on lap 1, so he must have taken some damage. We're watching Lorenzo and Nathan going side by side into the first turn, and that's... Oh my goodness, AJ Wuhan actually retires from the session, so barely makes it through 1 lap, and that's his race over just like that. Nathan JB gets the better of Lorenzo for the time being here on lap 2, as Nathan is still in 5th. I did see another battle between Laparta and Michael Furez, but I think Michael Furez did actually get pushed wide just a little bit there in that first turn. But nonetheless, there's a little bit of a gap now between 3rd and 4th.
Oh,
and what's going on with Bumblebee?
Again.
Oh, he's around. Oh no, not what he was hoping for. It looks like potentially a victim of that white sausage curb there. Does he have any wing damage? No, it doesn't look like it.
Track already catching a lot of these drivers out. We saw Irish New Potato taking a lot of damage, spun out in the final. Oh, who's that? Is that a Williams? It went wide. Oh, it was AJ Wuhan's go. Sorry.
Well, okay. So thankfully nothing to be too worried about here, as AJ Wuhan did DNF. But let's take a look. I'm trying to keep an eye on. Actually, this is Cruz putting the pressure on Lorenzo down the start-finish straight. Doesn't look like there's any DRS. Oh, actually, who was that? That was Synchro. That got a little bit angsty and trying to make a move on Formula Matt, but overbraked himself, missed the braking point, went a little bit wide, and actually got the worst of that. I think that was Mats and Gexy battling it out right behind. Gexy's still trying to keep a bit of a nose inside there, but I think Mats actually got the better of him. But actually, no, never mind. Never mind. They're still battling it out. Gexy on the outside here of turn 5. But it looks like Mats is just able to get the better of Gexy for the time being. But Gexy's got to watch out because he has Vito right behind him. Not as much movement as we're used to seeing from Vito, as he's still in 12th, but it is only lap 3. Yeah, so Gexy running a bit of a different strategy than everybody else, as he said, opting for the hard tires. It looks like it's working out for him, as he's up five positions here from the start of the race, and now can potentially go a little bit longer now than everybody else, but
pretty much probably go right to the rain period. So
yeah, it seems like it. So potentially a bit of a different strategy for them, but he's going to have to watch out because Vito is looking to make a move, and it looks like he's going to get it fairly easy enough here going through into this first turn. And yeah, it looks like that is the case for him, as Vito's up into 11th and Gexy falls down to 12th. And he's going to have to watch out for Chris now, who's behind him, probably looking to work his way up the grid as well. But Vito, he's going to try to get him. Sorry, what was that?
Leaders are absolutely taken off from the Porta. They've already have a 4-second gap.
Yeah, and that's Jerome Vasseur and Callus. The AlphaTauri and the Racing Point really just having a race of their own now, as they're coming through into Sector 3. So it's a bit of a battle for the top 2, and then we've got Laparta in 3rd, but even he has a gap to 4th. And then here we are in 4th with Michael and Nathan going side by side here in the 3rd sector. Michael has to go very wide and actually loses not 1 but 2 positions here in sector 3. And that's Cruz now up into 5th, Nathan up into 4th, as they're now going to try to close the gap to Lapartia to try to make this a bit more of a battle for the podium. Cruz went a little bit wide on the exit of that turn, so might lose out in a little bit of time to Michael, but they're still gonna have to watch out for the likes of Lorenzo and Formula Matt. And Synchro, he's going into the pits now, so potentially took a bit of damage himself. Synchro did, taking a pit stop here on lap 5, and oh, who was that? That was Michael Furious, who actually goes for a bit of a spin there through turn 2, sorry, and he falls all the way down to 13th, and it looks like he took some end plate damage as well, so from bad to worse, and that's Cruz down into 14th as well, right behind him. So I saw what happened to Michael Furious, but what happened to Cruz? Did he just get caught up in that incident? Did you see what happened there?
Contact. I don't want to assume anything if there was contact. I know that they were both around, and Cruz is racing him pretty aggressively as we keep going. Yeah, Cruz just seems a bit upset.
Yes, that's not, once again, Cruz getting a bit of the short end of the stick there then, from what it seems, as he was having such a good race and now down into P13. But it's only lap 6, lots of time to go here in the race, so now he just has to kind of switch it over to a recovery drive, more likely, and see what he can do. But elsewhere on track, you've got Formula Dank trying to make a move down the inside, Formula Matt trying to make a move down the inside of Lorenzo, but he's going to have to watch out because Matt's is actually now down his inside. They both lock up through turn 2. Who's going to get the better positioning? I think it's going to be Formula Matt, but no, they're still side by side. There's contact, and that's actually Matt's that goes off into the wall a little bit there. It doesn't look like there's damage, at least from the chase cam here, but that's Matt's down into 8th. That promotes Vito up into 7th, and I'm sure the stewards are probably going to end up having a bit of a look at that to see if there was any intentional contact.
Matt's just lost the rear end on the exit of that turn 3, the quick shoot right there, and unfortunately, Formula Mats was on his inside, and there was nowhere for Formula Mats to go. So.
Okay, so that's I guess that's the analyst of it. I saw a little bit of wiggle from both drivers, so I don't know if it was just sort of the battle taking the best of it, or what happened there. But actually, just as I'm saying this, Formula Mats missed the braking point a little bit, almost ran into Lorenzo, but had to lock the brakes up, and that actually is giving Vito a very nice chance here to try to make a move. But they both actually have ERS, but that doesn't matter if you're Vito. Look at the speed he has going down the start finish straight and overtakes Formula Mats with ease. And just as we suspected now, Vito up into 4th and potentially looking to close the gap now.
What a model of consistency the Ferrari has been all season long. It's why he has the lead.
Oh yeah, so Vito is consistent as ever in the race, and it's almost textbook now as to what's going to happen seemingly every race for him. But I'm seeing elsewhere on track, we still have Chris and Gexy still fighting it out for these still point-paying positions in 7th and 8th. Chris is leading for the time being, but I don't know how long that's going to last, as we have Gexy and now Cohen looking to get involved in this battle as well, and even Jordan too. But who is that? That's Lorenzo. Yep, and Lorenzo. Oh no! Yeah, yeah, he is on the. Oh yeah, on those fresh medium. No, thankfully he doesn't look like he took any damage, so he should, other than the warm tires, that shouldn't be too bad for him. Callis, he's the first of the leaders to decide to pit, so he's coming out in 10th, putting on a fresh set of medium tires, so probably looking to take that until at least the rain period. Mats and Formula Matt take into the battle again at the same spot where we saw that incident, so now it looks like Mats has the better of it, so came back with a vengeance, it looks like. as he's now up, he's up into 4th, and Formula Matt down into 5th.
Vaco is spun around again as well. Doesn't appear to have damage. Now here's the thing I want to ask you, Eric, is with the cloud cover all of a sudden just coming out of virtually nowhere, we could be looking at rain soon. If you're a guy like Vito, do you just extend these mediums until you got a pit? Because look at the guys in front of them are on those soft tires. They're not going to be able to make it for another 6-7 laps, but Vito surely can.
Oh, definitely. If he can manage the tires, he definitely can. The other thing too is that with the cloud cover coming up, that's gonna cool the track off a little bit too. So that might have an effect on the tire wear. We're seeing Jerome Vasseur actually, as we're speaking of this, he's choosing to go into the pits now, putting on, it looks like a new set of soft tires. So I definitely think if you're Vito, if you can manage the tire wear well enough, you can definitely ride this to the rain, to the period of rain, and potentially just take that free pit stop. Let's look at that. We are seeing the drops as.
This is gonna work beautifully for Vito.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, what a strategy call by Vito there, getting the free choice of tires, and actually everybody here who's on those 8-lap-old mediums or hard tires. The only person who might actually truly lose out here is Laparta, unless he can manage to stay, keep those soft tires alive long enough until we hit the point where we need to, oh my goodness, where he needs to pit for inners.
Yeah, Joran Vasseur coming out in a heap of traffic. Callis jumps him in the pits. Callis on the medium tires.
But now they're both they're one right behind another. Oh, there's a big battle going on here for this potential lead of the race, and I was gonna say Jordan getting involved. That was just Callis passing Jordan. What's happened here with Laparta? Oh, Laparta's into the wall, as now he's got to wait to let traffic through. So I think he potentially took those soft tires one lap too long now, as he's definitely going to have to pit now and get on probably a new set of soft tires now with the rain the way it is.
This is the worst opportunity for him to have these type of problems, because I don't think you're there for an intermediate tire and to pit again, and then you're going to have to pit immediately in the next coming lap. Oh, this is just...
Oh, and look at this battle we have. Just as we talked about that, we got a nice little 4-car battle. You could probably throw a blanket on them all. But I think this is Gexy, Callis, Jerome Vasseur. I think even Chris was there as well. But Laparta going on the intermediate tire. So taking that gamble now. That's Bumblebee that's in the wall, going for a bit of an excursion there after turn 1. So that's his race going from a little bit bad to worse there.
Worked on the intermediates.
Yep, I think it's a little bit.
Good.
I feel it's a little bit too early for him, but
he had no choice.
Yeah, after the incident he definitely had no choice. But actually, we have a VSC out. I just noticed this.
Yeah, I don't.
So.
Vaco is in the lead. I mean, sorry, Vito.
Yeah, Vito. Yeah, Vito's in the lead. He was closing up on Laporta, but Laporta had that incident right near the end of Sector 3. Thankfully, it was right before the pit entry, so he didn't have to trek through the entire lap again. But Vito now in the lead, and he's probably going to hold off until it's time for inners. We're back to racing. DRS is enabled, so.
Callis and Joran Vasseur, this is 3 wide.
Oh, let's take a look at that. It is 3 wide here. Down to 2 wide now. It's Jerome Vasseur and Callis are now past Gexy. But actually, what's going on here? There's a nice little battles.
Callis lost the rear end, and Gexy slammed into the back of Callis.
Oh my goodness.
Cruz and Cohen and Jordan to just slide through the both of them and.
Yep, and Gexy has some wing damage now too. Lost the end plates. That's Callis getting by him pretty easily. Thankfully for Callis, he doesn't have too much damage there, if any at all. But Jerome Vasseur probably potentially dancing in his cockpit, knowing that his primary race rival is now 1, 2, 3, about 4 positions behind him. But albeit these cars are all still very close to one another here in regards to on-track position. But Jerome Vasseur actually going down the inside of Chris now. So he's up into 4th as he's trying to work his way back up the grid. And it's going to be now pretty close to Formula Matt for that 3rd spot here. Cruz up into 7th as he looks like he passes Jordan, and Callis now passes Jordan too. Sorry, who was around?
Bumblebee around again. Intermediates, just not in time for it. He's got end plate damage.
Oh, okay, yeah, so definitely a lot of the drivers trying those intermediate tires look like they're going a little bit too early. Callis and Jordan battling it out on track. They're side by side going through the first turn. Callis is still able to hold on to that spot for the time being, but it's only a matter of time now, it seems, before Jordan is going to be able to actually make that move stick, just given the way he's been attacking Callis.
Jordan on 11 lap hold. Hard, he's looking just to bring it to the crossover.
Oh, definitely.
We know Vito moved. Vito and Matt's up 12 spots. Cohen up 13.
Oh, so that's crazy, yeah, and it shows the power of just the right strategy. Especially a lot of these drivers all opting to start on the medium tires, or even the hard tires, and it seems like that was definitely the better strategy given the rain. But actually it looks like the rain is starting to pick up a little bit. I just saw Cohen get a bit of a tank slapper on the exit of a corner. Jerome Visser passes Formula Matt, and him and the leaders are gonna choose to go for at least one more lap. This is a yellow flag in sector 3. What is this? Is that Cohen? No, I don't think so. I'm not too sure what happened with this yellow flag here. But that's Formula Matt going into the pits, so he's getting off the hard tires, and what's he going to choose to put on? He's going on the inters now. As we got a nice little 4-car battle here going into turn 1. What's it going to look like after this? It looks like Callis passed Cohen. You got Chris and Cruz battling it out as well. Oh, that's Chris going for a bit of a spin here in turn 2. So he's falling down into 8th.
Callis into the back of Chris.
Yeah, and was there any contact there? Was that just Chris who spun?
Callis outbroke himself and into the back of Chris he went and spun the McLaren around.
Oh, okay. So probably definitely something the stewards are going to look at after the race here. But at least for the time being for us, we are going to have to trek on, but not what you're hoping to see. Potentially maybe the conditions have something to do about it. When I'm looking on track, yeah, it's looking there's not much in terms of spray, but there is at least a little bit from what I can see, and it looks like the track is well, very slowly but surely.
Can't seem to catch a break.
No, and actually Mats is going into the pit, so he's probably going to put on a set of intermediate tires now, I would think.
They're only 5 seconds to Vito now.
Yep, and now we've got a whole gaggle of cars pitting. That's Mats, Cruz, Cohen, Jordan, Callis, Chris, Synchro going into the pits too. All seemingly going on to the intermediate tires now.
Roman the Matt's gonna pick up a lot of positions here.
Yep, it looks like it. So now, just for the sit rep, on lap 14 we have Vito in first, who has not taken a pit stop just yet. Jerome Visser back up into second after pitting for soft tires. And has brought the gap to Vito down to 4 seconds, so we might see a bit of a battle now. Bumblebee actually just retired from the session, so not the race he was hoping for, as now on lap 14, this is his race over. Yep, and actually just as Callis made a move on Gexley, and it was the intermediate tires versus the medium tires here. So now if DRS is disabled, it might actually be time to change it over. And it does look like
that's what we gotta find out.
Oh, let's see. Vito and Jerome Visser, they just chose to pit 1 lap later than everybody else. Let's actually jump to Mats here as he's coming through the last few turns, the last 2-3 turns of Sector 3. Now, what's it going to be? Is Mats going to come out ahead, or are the likes of Jerome and Vito going to come out ahead? It looks like as if Vito, at the very least, had enough of a gap to be able to come out ahead, and I think Jerome Visser also has enough of a gap to come out ahead. But it looks like in terms of Mats, that gap is definitely closed. Michael Fiera is still on those. Oh, actually, yeah, they got much closer than what I was expecting there. So Matt's definitely able to close the gap down to half a second now here on the likes of Drone Vasseur, and all of a sudden we've got a battle here.
Gexy's missed the pit. Gexy's missed the pit entries on another lap on those medium tires. It's gone from bad to worse for Gexy.
Oh, definitely bad to worse for the Alfa Romeo driver here. As you mentioned, oh no, he's gonna have to stick another lap on those slick tires, and that's not what you're hoping for, especially seeing the rest of the grid. But speaking of that, Michael Fures, he's putting a fresh set of soft tires on.
I don't know what to say about that one.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what to say either about that one. A bit of a questionable calls here. So unless the rain is going to disappear in the span of half a lap, I'm not too sure why you would go on the fresh set of soft tires unless there was a potential pit communication issue going on in the Haas garage there.
He's struggling. Struggles like polite way to put it. It's not gonna go well.
And let's actually take a look here very quickly. Waiting for him to show up. Yeah, it definitely looks like he's struggling from what I can see here with the onboard. Oh, and that's Nathan facing the wall. So he had a bit of I guess a bit of a spin. Yep. Oh, and struggling to get back on track with the tires the way they are. So not looking all that great for Nathan as he falls down the order, and he's gonna have to now work his way back up, back into the competition now.
Yeah, Nathan's struggling. Biku finally just gonna limp back to the pits.
Yep, so we'll see, and they're definitely gonna have to get on the intermediate tires now. And yeah, there we go. So both those drivers definitely getting on the intermediates. That was Jordan. That went wide in the wide on the exit of the turn there, and that actually let Formula Matt make a move very easily to get up into fifth. So that's Formula Matt into sixth. Sorry, Jordan down into seventh. As it looks like now with the rain, a lot of the gaps are starting to form a little bit here. Vito is still a 4-second gap from Drone Vasseur, so there's still a 4-second gap for the lead of the race. Drone Vasseur actually growing the gap on Mats is up to 1.4 seconds now compared to the 0.4 seconds it was not too long ago. But I'm seeing Irish Potato looking to close up on Mivako and getting very close now to him as they're going through the end of Sector 2 into Sector 3. Battle for 12th, but there's still points on the board, even in this battle for 12th here. So still lots to play for, and even the ability to work your way back up the grid from there. Callus getting very close to Synchro now, and they're actually all very close to Chris as well in this battle for 8th. So it's still anybody's race for some of these positions further down the field, as everybody's trying to maximize the amount of points they can get here in this Grand Prix weekend.
You want to go ahead and throw up the telemetry for the drivers, get the audience on just ERS and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, I'll throw that on here for everybody watching at home, just so we can get that little bit of an idea there, as you said.
Vito, even if he doesn't win this race, Vito has planned and strategized this race with a perfect stroke of genius.
Oh yeah, and it looks like at least for the time.
You see Gexy in the last points-paying position, the guy that's supposed to be mounting the challenge to Vito. They've gone opposite ends of the grid again this week.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we're expecting the likes of Gexy and Vito to be battling it out every race, but Gexy just has had a lot of string of bad luck. And just like that, as you said, he's down in the last points-paying position. So he's going to be hoping now, as much as he was hoping to probably be battling for the win and battling Vito for the championship, he's going to have to now just battle to make sure he comes away with some form of a points paying position.
But yeah, there's still a lot left in this race. We got just about past halfway.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. There's still loads of laps to go, so lots of time for things to change. But the gaps are starting to form. But actually, the one gap that is closing very quickly actually is this gap for the lead. Vito now with only a 3-second gap to or in the lead to Jerome Visser, sorry, who's in second. Words are difficult for me today, if you might be able to tell.
It's all right.
But we might see this battle for the lead coming sooner rather than later here, as since it's only lap 18 out of 35, there's still loads of time to truly see a good battle here. But now a battle that's potentially a bit more imminent is Synchro and Callus here, as Synchro's only half a second behind. And is looking to work his way back up the grid. But these three have, these two, and even Chris, who's fallen a little bit further back now, they've been battling for a better part of the last few laps.
It's our closest battle on track right now.
Yeah, between them and the likes of Irish Potato and Mivako, probably the two closest battles we've got for the time being. No DRS to help out Synchro due to the rain, and it looks like Callus is actually growing this gap a little bit. So let's see, can Irish Potato, he's using some overtake to help him out here as they're going down the start-finish straight. Can he actually close the gap enough to try to make a lunge? Does not look like he can, as Mivako is able to hold down that 12th position for probably at least another little bit of a lap here. But we'll see for how long, because Irish Potato is keeping that gap very honest, and he does have some overtake to use for when he needs it. But of course, with the conditions the way they are in these intermediate conditions, it's a lot harder to make the moves, not only because there's no DRS to use, but also just given the track conditions, it's a lot easier to kind of swing around. You don't have as much grip. It's a lot easier to lose out on some of that traction exiting the corner, I feel. Was that your experience, at least in the Tier 3 race when you were racing it?
Well, it's just in any race with variable conditions. It's just there's just not that level of grip with the confidence to just try and make a move that you would normally try and go for. You can't really stick it out to the outside unless you just find some superior grip. And passing in Hungary already in itself is very hard to do. So weather's not going to help that.
Oh no, definitely not. And even trying to make some lunges down the inside in these after the straightaways of the likes what we might see here on turn 1, not as easy to do here in the wet weather conditions. You don't have as much trust in the car in terms of the braking position and the braking point, because you could just catch maybe a bad line here and there, and completely miss the braking point and go way wide into the corner and potentially cause an incident. But even then, we saw in the exit too, as I was talking about, Irish Potato had a bit of a wiggle there early on, and not lost out on any opportunity he had of potentially closing the gap going through into turn 2. The conditions, especially with the onboard, those conditions are looking very treacherous, I do have to say.
Yep. Visibility is very low. Another thing you got to think about when you're going to overtake, might not be able to see in certain spots.
Yeah, so it makes things a little bit interesting. That blinking, rain light that these cars have only helps so much, especially since normally you're not really focusing on that light all the time when you're looking at the apex of the corners and whatnot. So it just adds an extra level of difficulty for a lot of these drivers. Now I'm going to quickly jump. Yeah, just as you say that, that's exactly where I was going to jump to, because Callus, yeah, very close now. Brought the gap down to 0.4 of a second, and look at that, practically pushing Jordan around that corner there. So we might see a bit of a move here before this lap is over, potentially leading into the next lap, as Callus is now looking like he's got a whole lot of pace on those intermediate tires.
Absolutely. And Joran Visser, want to mention, not really closing that gap to Vito like he was originally, so
No, he brought the gap down to, it's down to around 2 seconds. Now, I'm not too sure if that's Jean Visser just trying to keep in the clean air, just stay 2 seconds back, and potentially time his attack, or if this is just Vito starting to push. It's actually Callis goes down the inside, it looks like, gets the better traction, and that's Callis up into 7th, and that knocks Jordan down into 8th, as that move was made just at the end of Sector 2, leading into Sector 3. So Callis looking to get a move on now, and he's going to have to try to close this 3.5 second gap.
Synchro into it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Jordan went a little bit wide on the exit of that penultimate corner there, and that actually allowed Synchro to close the gap right up to Jordan. And is Synchro going to be able to make a move down the inside? He's going to try the lunge, and it looks like he is able to keep the nose in there and get the better of Jordan. So not what Jordan was hoping for, as he loses out on not 1 but 2 spots here on lap 22, as he's down into 9th. Let's take a look. Irish Potato and Mivako still battling. Yeah, exactly. Irish Potato trying it around the outside, going a bit of a different route. A lot harder to do in these intermediate tires, but he's doing a good job of keeping the nose in there. And it turns into the inside here for turn 2. And it looks like Irish Potato is finally able to make that move on Mivako to go up into 12th. So he can continue on his race now in that Red Bull, so as long as Mivako doesn't try to overtake that spot right back again. Now Jordan actually got right ahead of Synchro, and that's actually Chris passing Synchro as well. So I don't know really what happened to Synchro. He's got some end plate damage there. So potentially maybe took a little bit of contact where he wasn't hoping for, and that's definitely going to affect him here in these intermediate conditions. Formula Matt going into the pits, so I'm not too sure what he's looking to do. It actually looks like the rain, I'm not seeing much of any rain falling anymore. And yeah, he's going on the mediums. We might see some slick tires again here. And this might change everything up here in the last 10 to 12 laps. Jerome Visser closing the gap a little bit now, down to 1.4 seconds on Vito.
Let's take a look at these tires. Yeah, we got Albiku and Synchro and Formula Max all on medium tires.
Yeah, so we might see another changeover period, because that's more drivers that are actually opting to pit off of the inters and put on something else. Now, as I said, when I go to the onboard now, I'm not seeing any rain on the car, so it looks like the rain period has actually stopped, and we might be going back to dry tires for the end of the race.
Top 3 stay out.
Yep.
Cruz is gonna pit. This could be huge for Cruz here.
Yep, we'll see if he times this right, and if the conditions are good enough to the point where the slick tires are better, and actually from that little tank slapper he had going into the pits, it might actually be the case. So Cruz might have pulled a bit of a great strategy here, depending on how this works out for him, because now everybody behind him is pitting as well, it seems.
Red glitch. Lorenzo got a pit as well.
Yep, and now just as we're saying this, DRS just got enabled this lap. So if that's not an indicator that it's time for slick tires, I don't know what is. So Cruz might have just pulled a great move, especially with everybody else having pit behind him. He's up into 4th, leading the slick tire runners here. And you're still going to have Mats, Jerome Visser, and Vito who have to pit. Now, Jerome Visser closing the gap very quickly on Vito, who seemingly is struggling on these intermediate tires. But as they're coming to the pit entrance, we might see this battle play out in the pits less than on track. But I'm definitely going to have to keep an eye on this. And also, since Mats is probably going to come in as well, where is Cruz going to end up in all of this, as he's just now going through sort of the last corner of Sector 2 going into Sector 3.
You might be able to get Mats here. Not sure about the top 2.
Yeah, might make it a little bit tricky. Vito going on the softs, Drone Visser going on the mediums, Matt's going on the softs. So a bit of a split strategy here for the leaders. Who's going to come out ahead here with 10 laps to go? I'm also watching Callis because he's right behind Cohen here for 5th, and Callis is actually right up back in the battles here. For decent paying points after having fallen down the order quite a fair bit early on in the race. But for now, it's Vito in the lead. Drone Visser, now the gap is back up to 1.9 seconds. So Vito definitely making the most of those soft tires, it looks like, with that extra grip. Mats is still in 3rd, but Cruz is now only 3 seconds behind. And Callis, as I was saying, it looks like he just made the overtake on Cohen, but they're going side by side now. Cohen still has the nose ahead, but not for long. But who's going to get the better of the two? It looks like that's Callis, who's up into 5th now, is able to solidify that position and leaves Cohen behind him now. Synchro and Lorenzo battling it out. It looks like that was Synchro that was able to make the overtake on Lorenzo, but Lorenzo fighting back, tries to go down the outside, but Synchro closes that gap up very quickly. And yeah, it looks like Synchro is still going to hold on to that 10th spot, at least for the time being, as Lorenzo's going to have to back off and keep an eye on Mivako, who's right behind, probably looking to work his way up the order as well. But I want to stick to this battle here for 10th, because it looks like it's the closest gap that we have here on track. It's a nice little 3-car battle we have going on here.
Mivako could really recover from the troubles he had earlier. What's
no.
that? What do we got? Gaxie's off.
Oh, so Gaxie's race is just going from bad to worse for him, as he's actually now outside of the points.
No damage.
Okay, so no damage, thankfully, for him, so he can continue on, but not what he was hoping for is now, it doesn't look like he's going to be scoring any points, which is crucial for him in this battle with Vito, where we can see where Vito is completely at the other end of the spectrum up into 1st, but his Vito's teammate Lorenzo tries to go down the outside of Synchro. It looks like he is able to make it stick. Lorenzo is on those soft tires, so he's got the grip advantage to Synchro. And it looks like that grip advantage has come into handy as Lorenzo very easily goes up into 10th, and that moves Synchro down into 11th, and he's going to have to watch out for Mivako, who's now closing the gap very, very quickly now. And looks like it's only a matter of time before that AlphaTauri car ends up ahead of the Haas car. And actually, just as I was saying that, I almost saw him move down the outside of turn 5, but thought better of it as the window was closed. But Mivako just trying everything he can to get past Synchro sooner rather than later, because I don't think he wants to lose out on that gap for to Lorenzo too much, having to be stuck behind Synchro.
Yeah, Vito out front pulling a decent gap with those softer tires. He's just got to worry about making them to the end of the race. So.
Oh yeah, but Vito has shown in the past he's pretty good with tire wear, so I'm not too worried about him. It's more just a matter of if he can keep up that gap for when Drone Visser's medium tires end up in the optimal range. But on your screen, we'll see Mivako making a move on Synchro, going down the outside, but they're still side by side through this first turn. Looks like Synchro still got the better of Mivako for the time being, but Mivako actually gets a little bit better traction, but once again is stuck on the outside. There's a little bit of contact here. That was a Synchro that almost spun out and almost took Irish Potato right there with them. But now that's Mivako up into 11th after a bit of an elbows out type move. Synchro in 12th and Mivako in 13th, but Mivako looking to looking to make a move on Synchro, but it's probably going to have to wait at least one more lap to get it done, as Sector 2 does not really offer too much of an overtaking opportunity for lots of drivers, unless you're very, very lucky with a gap.
Dark getting pulled into this battle too.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, now we've got the Racing Point at Dark coming in. So it looks like everyone's getting involved here with this battle. That Synchro seems to be right stuck in the middle of it. But actually, oh my goodness, we almost saw Irish Potato try to go down the inside of the penultimate corner there. but probably going to be waiting, looking to get that much better exit to make the move into the first turn here as we're starting lap 28 for these drivers. And there we go. We saw Irish Potato make it very easy, it seemed like, to take that 12th position away from Synchro. As now we've got the Red Bull up into 12th, the Haas down into 13th, and now Dark on the soft tires, looking to take advantage of this, and potentially take that 13th spot away from Synchro. So Synchro really not feeling the medium tires, it seems, as much as he was probably hoping for. As Gexy, as we were saying, his race went from bad to worse, and he has limited the damage now, retiring in the pits. So no points for Gexy here at the Hungaroring. So not what he was hoping for in terms of his championship battle with Vito.
Nope, quite the opposite, in fact. All these drivers, their lap time is starting to ramp up.
Oh, definitely. And now we're starting to see a battle with Formula Matt, Jordan, and Chris, all very close to one another on track as well. And this is for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Not much movement, at least through the start of lap 29 for them. Sorry, they're still staying single file, but I don't think that's going to be that way for too much longer. Keeping an eye on the gaps elsewhere on track. I'm seeing Matt slowly closing that gap to... Oh, and that's Callis, actually. Callis went off, almost in... that was very, actually, synchronized with the likes of, I think... Synchro. Oh no, Cohen's off too. Oh my goodness, calamity there, as they were both, I think they were both actually battling with each other, potentially. Yeah, completely separate incidents, but I think they were all battling each other. But that actually opens up a bit of a 4-car battle now between Callis, Formula, Matt, Jordan, and Chris. Now battling for 5th spot.
How the turntables.
Yeah, so it's crazy scenes here, but now we've got a whole bunch of points here still up for grabs with 5 laps to go in the in this race. And there we go, Jordan actually looks like he's got a nice exit, using up everything he can of the overtake, trying to get past Formula Matt, being forced to go down the outside. Formula Matt actually outbrakes himself a little bit there, and Jordan is able to make the overtake fairly easily with a little bit of a switchback move there. But Formula Matt trying to get right back at Jordan, but is not able to get the nose in enough to make that stick. So for the time being, here on lap 30, it's Callis, Jordan, Formula Matt, and then Chris behind for positions 5 through 8.
All separated. They're 4 cars within a second from first.
Oh yeah, this is just going to be crazy scenes here for 5th. And Jerome Visser actually sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix here on lap 31, but still has a 4-second gap to close up to Vito, and it looks like this gap is showing no signs of diminishing from what I've been seeing these last few laps.
Matt's had closed the gap to about 1.8 seconds up to Joran, and then all of a sudden Joran just said,
yeah. I think what's happening is that in terms of the top 3, top 4, everyone now is realizing there's only 4 laps to go, 5 laps to go, so they're all just trying to close the gap up to one another, but they're all pushing together, so nobody's really able to close a gap on anyone. But oh, who's that? Oh, that's Formula Matt actually trying a bit of a move to go down the inside of Jordan. Does not work out for him. Takes a little bit of contact, gets spun around a little bit, and down into 8th is Formula Matt. So that takes himself out of this battle. And now, just with that, it seems a bit more of a gap is formed now, because they're all 1 second behind one another compared to the half a second that was the case before that. So let's actually jump back.
Irish New Potatoes.
Yeah, so I've actually just jumped back to this battle here, as the gap is now back down to 0.4 of a second and closing rapidly, it seems. But in this sector 2, there's not much of an overtaking opportunity unless Mivako makes a mistake.
That incident with Formula Matt really opened up the gaps right there between Callis, Jordan, and Chris.
Yeah, that's
Really
the
looking
thing.
forward to that in the closing laps.
Yeah, I was really hoping to see something happen there, but unfortunately the gaps kind of opened up as everybody took a bit of probably some precautionary measures to try to avoid the incident there. Um, so not we won't be able to see that nice little four-car battle by the end of the race unless something drastic happens. But either way, we will trek on because thankfully Irish Potato is keeping things interesting as he's still trying to get past Mivako here in these closing stages of the race. He's going to try something down the outside. They're side by side now. Let's actually give the onboard to get a bit of a better camera angle. There we go. And look
Wow.
at that. What a move by Irish Potato up into 11th as it's not really I mean, we've seen a decent amount of moves there, but actually keeping it through into turn 3 was very impressive, and actually getting the better of Mivako, that was a really nice move, and everybody came out cleanly as well, which is what you love to see.
Absolutely. Great racing by those guys.
Yeah, fantastic racing as they've shown all race. And now just as the sun is shining, Jordan is starting to get a little bit of pace on those tires. And actually, that's Callis. What's going on? Callis going into the pits with 2 laps to go. So he's going to fall right down the... And he retires from the session.
What?
So I don't know what's going on here in terms of Callis. But that's Callis' race over just like that as he retires from the session with 2 laps to go. So going from a possible 5th place finish down to no points at all into 16th. But as much as I want to talk about that, we've got a bit of a battle for the podium as Cruz is now 3/10 away from Mats in this battle for 3rd now.
Oh, we'll have him here, absolutely.
So we've got the onboard with Cruz as, yeah, I think what you're saying is only a matter of time, and Irish Potato has the gap closed very quickly to Lorenzo elsewhere on track, and actually is able to make that move stick. As, wow, Lorenzo really getting the worst of that as he loses 2 spots as Mivako makes the move as well. But I just want to take a look at that very quickly because now I don't want to take my eyes off of this battle between Cruz and Mats, as there's still one right behind another in this battle for the last podium position. Mats must be sweating in his in the cockpit there, seeing how close behind Cruz is, and Cruz looking for the redemption, looking for that podium. He's got a very good chance of doing this here, but time is winding down for him as he's gonna have to get this move done sooner rather than later. Chris actually pitting, so he's falling down the order, putting on the soft tires, so I'm not too sure why he's choosing to pit, and Leparkta looking to pit as well. So all these drivers looking to pit, maybe just trying to get fastest laps on the last lap, but honestly, I really don't get it. Jerome Vasseur does actually set a fastest lap of the Grand Prix.
He's closing in on Vito. Vito's tires have got to be falling off right now.
But the problem is, will he be able to close up enough? Because we're on the last lap now, and there's still a second he has to close.
I don't think it's going to be enough. It just depends on who's got penalties and who doesn't.
Yep, and that's something I'm not too sure with all the action we've seen. I wasn't able to keep an eye on who got how many penalties. But it'll definitely make things very interesting by the end of the race. But actually, as we're saying that, Jerome Vasseur brought the gap down very quickly to nearly half a second now through Sector 2. So we might see a last possible lunge from Jerome Vasseur for the win of the race. But I also want to keep an eye on the likes of Mats and Cruz that are still one behind another here. So, but here, let's actually take a look at Jerome and Hurin and Vito as they're coming around the last corner now. Who's going to take it? Cruz actually made the move on Mats, so I'm going to have to jump to that quickly. In the penultimate corner, it looks like Vito takes the win. Jerome Vasseur just 2/10 behind for second, and it looks like, at least for now, Cruz crosses the line in third, but Mats takes it in penalties.
Wow. What an absolute masterclass from Vito. Like, you said it in qualifying. Yeah, this is gonna
Gonna qualify, mid-pack, and this top step of the podium. Master stroke. Genius strategy.
Yeah, crazy strategies, but I'm gonna have to hold you off because we're still seeing some battles on track. Irish Potato and Cohen still battling it out here, going through the penultimate corner. Irish Potato looks like he got the best of Cohen, but Mivako trying to, and there's a spin, and that's Cohen spun with 2 corners to go and falls down to 10th, and potentially could fall down the order even more, as that's not what you're hoping for in this battle right at the end of the race, and Cohen falling right down the order down to 13th. So that was crazy there at the end. It all came down to the last lap, and the last lap did not disappoint whatsoever. But there we go. For those watching at home, that was the Hungarian Grand Prix. What a race it was, especially by the end of it, as we are getting a nice shot of the podium. Vito taking the top step, enjoying the champagne in that Ferrari car. But what a showing by these drivers here, I do have to say. But here we go. So it'll take us down the order. Vito gets the win after qualifying in 13th. So what a drive by him. Jeroen Visser, incredible drive as well. Unfortunately, just barely misses out on the victory, but has to settle for a very nice, very solid P2. Matt's taking the last podium position in 3rd. Cruz coming in 4th, so a strong drive by him as well. Jordan rounds out the top 5 after qualifying in 17th and coming in 5th, so what a drive by him as well. Formula Matt in 6th, Irish Potato in 7th, Mivako in 8th, Dark in 9th, and Lorenzo rounds out the top 10. Chris in 11th, Synchro in 12th, Cohen in 13th after that unfortunate incident for him. The Parkta in 14th, Michael Fierez in 15th, Callis in 16th, Gexy in 17th, Nathan JB in 18th, the Bumblebee in 19th, and AJ Wuhan in 20th. The last 2 unfortunately not finishing the last 4 actually not finishing the race. But still very good race, very exciting race, especially at the end where everything seemed to have gone down. I couldn't have asked for a better finish of the race.
Wow, Mushroom won the Academy race at Hungary today.
Hey, so shout out and congratulations to Mushroom on the Academy race win.
On the way back.
Yep, looking to make his way on the way back to the to one of the 3 major tiers. But now that we've hit the end of the race, looks like a lot of the drivers seemingly have opted out of the lobby. So I'm not too sure if we're gonna have anybody coming in for interviews or not.
It appears everybody's offline. So.
All right, seems like everybody's offline, so no interviews from the winners this week. So we'll wrap the stream up here. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race as much as we did. Make sure to tune in about 40 minutes time from now for the main event. That's ISRL Tier 1 as they take their crack around the Hungaroring. And that's starting at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So please, so make sure to tune in for that, because it'll be very exciting and a very fun race to watch. But on behalf of ISRL Esports, I am Fallen Monkeys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Tier 2 race. But this is all we have for you. So enjoy the rest of your day, and until next week, goodbye.